Good day and welcome to another Monday Momentum. I am your Scale Up Biz Coach, Laurie McNaughton. And this particular Monday Momentum is called Mastering Momentum. How do you get it and how do you keep it? This is a really key lesson. I think I apply it to myself because I found that lots of times I'd gain momentum. And when I gain momentum, I see a lot of growth. But then when I lose momentum, I see things start to slide the other way. And one of the things that I've learned in life is also that allowing yourself to slide into a comfort zone is one of those things where you start to lose momentum. You work really hard to create something, a system, and a process, or hire the right people, or get whatever it is, the right marketing, whatever the sales calls, whatever it is, you get it all figured out, and it starts producing some results, and then you're going, now I can take a deep breath. That, my friends, is a danger zone. You can't allow uh, feeling comfortable to take your foot off the gas. And I would hazard to say that that particular challenge has cost me, I'm going to say it, millions of dollars. Not that I need millions of dollars. It's not really about the money for me. It's more about what I can do that provides some value to the marketplace and allows me to continue to be someone who can contribute in some way, shape, or form. And this is what I love about what I do is because I make such a big difference when I get to work with clients who are, as I've talked about, teams between 5 and 50 people where, there's some level of frustration, stress, and maybe even, dipping up into that anxiety level. I'm able to help them put the systems and processes in place and help them find the right people and get their marketing working, um, help them get their businesses working so they function really without them there. And then they slide into a comfort zone. And the danger at that particular point, again, is because when you fall into the comfort zone, then you start really doing the things that got you there. And then your competitors start doing those things because they've found somebody to help them do what they want to do. So this is really, again, this Monday Momentum is about mastering that momentum. How do you get it and how do you keep it? So let's talk some more about this. We've all seen this happen. If you watch any kind of sports, doesn't matter whether it's baseball, hockey, football, soccer, um, golf, really any kind of sport where the momentum was with another team or with another person. And you saw this, and I've seen it so many times. I'm a uh, hockey fan more than anything, although I did watch a lot of baseball and football too, for that matter. Canadian Football League. Go Elks, go. Where one team has the momentum and whether it's let's just for argument's sake say it's the other team and it looks like they're going to crush your team and then one of the team members or one of the lines or something happens and there's a shift in momentum and all of a sudden they come back. And I can remember watching this so many times in with they're called the Elks now, but back in the heyday when they had the good name, sorry, the Eskimos. Uh, Literally, the dying seconds of the game, the momentum switches and then the other team or your team wins. Hockey, how many times have you watched a hockey game where it just seemed like, you're down 4 goals? I've seen it even worse than that. And your team comes back. It's because of momentum. They got that momentum. They shifted it and the tide turned. So the same can happen for your life and it can happen in your business, but it really starts with one action. If you think about, a golfer, there's one guy that's got all the momentum or one gal that's got all the momentum, and then a player hits an amazing shot. And just like that, the momentum shifts. So it's just one action, one decision, and one moment of courage. And I say courage because, listen, if you're an entrepreneur, you have courage. You may have untapped courage. You might not see the courage, but you have courage because, uh, I mean, I've seen it because I've been around for a while and I've worked with business owners who struggled and then found their way out of bad situations and create something quite special. And then I've seen it in my own life where, I was a very successful salesperson for 15 years, traveled up and down the highways in my home province here. I was a top guy on the team, if not the top guy on the team, if with two companies that I worked for at the time. But I've wanted something more. I needed something more. I needed to have more excitement in my life. And so I looked for a business to get into, and that's how I found business coaching because I called on small and medium-sized businesses as part of my job as a salesperson, and I saw businesses come and go. I saw business owners who I built relationships with close down and either go off and get a job or they shrunk their business down so small that it was basically next to nothing. Or business owners who worked in building a company for 20 years and then just close it down, which never makes any sense to me. You should always be building your business as an asset that you're going to sell when you retire. But anyways, it takes courage to be a successful entrepreneur. So this is a little model that I learned when I went to Tony Robbins. I can't remember if it was Date with Destiny or Life Mastery, but he talked about, having a belief about something or some level of certainty about something, and then some potential. You have potential. Again, every business has potential. Every person has potential. But they need to take some kind of action in order to activate that potential, and then they get a result from that. So let's just say somebody they're a little uncertain about whatever it is, and so they take on a little or use a little bit of their potential, and they take little action, and what happens when you take little action is you get no result. If you take sort of medium action, you get little results. And so now your certainty and your beliefs start to get challenged, and you access even less of your potential and you take less action. The result is in the end, your business implodes, or your career, whatever it is. So if you look at this and you go, okay, so how do I use this to help myself create momentum? First of all, create a level of certainty and belief about that. Here's the deal. No matter what it is, you can do it. The only thing that limits you is yourself. And if you're not having the success that you want, or if you're finding you've scaled your business up, maybe you got 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 employees, but you're still, really stressed out about things and working a lot and the profit levels, you got to look in the mirror. Don't look outside for the solution. Look in the mirror and say, what do I have to do? Who do I need to be? What resources do I have? What resources do I need? What do I need to change about how I am being so that I can do the things that need to get done so I can have what I want to have? So you create this high level of certainty and belief, then you access more of your potential and you take massive action. Could be the wrong action, but it's massive and you get a result. And then you go, okay, so it wasn't the result I was looking for. What do I need to do differently to create the result that I do want? And then come back and say, I am 100% certain. I'm 100% believe in myself. 100% believe in my team and our company and what we can do. So we're going to access even more potential. We're going to take even more action. You get another result. Now it's a better result. Now your beliefs and certainty change and shift. So just to remember, in the start of this thing, you want to have start here is to write out, why are you so certain? Because here's the thing. You can do it. Anybody can do it, but there's few who will do it. And it's like the few who do versus the many who, just talk about it. So start with that level of certainty. So this is going to help you create some momentum. Okay, so 3 ways to shift the momentum in your favor. The first thing you got to do is take some kind of action. So if you're not sure what that action is, then sit down with a pen, get yourself a journal. Doesn't work very good with the background, but there you go. And start writing. What is it that you really want? Actually, this would be a better place to start. Where are you at? And then what do I want to have? What do I want to be? or pardon me, what does my company look like 5 years from now? And then write down, okay, so if that's what I want, this is where I'm at. What's the first thing I could do? Even if it's a small action that starts to move you forward. Now, change your state. Tony Robbins is a state master. He, you go to one of his programs, you're going to get tuckered out physically. Uh, Not so much mentally, though. That's the one thing because you're jumping around, you're making a lot of noise, and you're learning a lot. But because you're in this heightened state, you're able to take in way more knowledge and information than you could if if you're like some conferences or seminars or speakers or I remember listening to a guy, I'm not going to say where he's from. Um, but it's like, oh my God, can I go to the bathroom or can I go get something to eat? So change your state, manage your state. People that are in a powerful state, generally speaking, they're sitting upright or standing upright. They're breathing deep. Their head is held up high. And you just say, you know what? If it is to be, it's up to me. And I'm going to get this done. I can do it. So number three is to win that first hour. So that first hour that you start your work. Now, I start early. I go to bed early. I get up early because that's my time. But the first thing I do is I write down into there we go, in my journal. I write down ask myself a bunch of questions about why am I so smart? Why am I so successful? Why am I so wealthy? Why am I so happy? Why am I so fit? Because I want my brain searching for answers that are positive towards that versus, ruminating about things that are unhealthy. And then I just write down three things that I'm grateful for. And then I write down three things three people that I love. And then I write down, okay, so do what's important. And I write down the three things that I got to get done that day. And there's my list of three things. And now I start doing those things first thing in that first hour, whatever. That's the starting point that fires you up. When you own your morning with intent and energy, you start the whole day off new. And I don't know about you, but that's where I have most of my energy. By the end of the day, I'm kind of flagging and running out of gas. So I don't want to wait till the end of the day to start doing stuff. I want to do it now or in the morning. So 3 ways to keep the momentum going. Well, celebrate it when you make progress. Small wins lead to big wins and big shifts. I worked on the Monday Momentum slide deck, and when I got it done, I go, that's awesome. Good work. Excellent work. Little celebration. Now stay consistent, not perfect, but show up again and again and again. Don't worry about showing up perfect. Nothing is perfect. Perfection doesn't exist. And if you wait for it to be perfect, you're never going to move forward. So just stay consistent. Start your morning off powerfully with that first hour. And stay consistent to that, and stay consistent to getting things done. When you do that and you show up for yourself day in and day out, it's going to, first of all, if you got a team, is going to start to affect your team. And that's in a positive way. One of the things I talk about, and I've talked about in other Monday Momentums, is above and below the line. So above the line is ownership, accountability, and responsibility. Below the line is blame, excuses, and denial. How do I know, as an outsider coming in and interviewing potential clients, whether a company is above the line or below the line? I listen to the owner of the company. If the owner of the company is reflecting onto the team, we would be so much better if I know that they're not holding themselves accountable, they're not taking ownership, and they're not taking responsibility, so neither is their team. And I know that for a fact. I've seen it hundreds of times. Okay, so surround yourself with high energy people, and because energy is contagious. We've all, ran into somebody that, you might even been a little bit sort of dragging or whatever, and then you run into somebody and they're just full of energy. The next thing you know, you feel your energy going up. And we've also had experiences where, we felt quite energetic, quite excited, quite ready to do something, and then we came into a situation where, if I want to say, the people were really low energy. And the next thing you know, you're feeling low energy. So surround yourself with high energy people because it's contagious. Okay, so a quote to remember: momentum breeds motivation, and motivation fuels more momentum. And then also, action creates motivation, and action also creates momentum. So um, just remind yourself of that. Write it down. Write it. If you haven't got your journal, get it. If you got a journal, write it down. Action creates more momentum. So another great quote is from Mark Twain: "The only way to get ahead is to get started. The only way to get ahead is to get started. You gotta get started." So here's what I would suggest you do at this point: is just pause the video and answer these questions. What's one area in my life or the business where we've been waiting instead of acting? And what's one small move we can make today to create momentum, forward momentum? And then, if I guarantee you success in one area this week, what bold action would you take? And what's stopping you from doing it anyway? So, if I guaranteed your success in one area this week, what bold action would you take? And what's stopping you from doing that anyway? And then the third question is: do you need to become or create, pardon me, who do you need to become to create and keep momentum? And what does that vision of you do differently starting today? That was, sometimes I've got what I want to say in my head, and then I'm looking at the words on the paper. Probably should just leave the words or forget about the words on the paper and just say what's in my head. Anyway, you get it. Pause the video, answer these questions. Okay, it's game on. Want to dominate your week? Start by shifting your momentum today. Let's go. Let's win the week. If you are interested, I'm doing a free webinar every Wednesday at 12 p.m. till 12:45 approximately, give or take 5 minutes, where I'm going to talk about how you scale your business up and not get burned out by it. And so I'm going to include that link in the description for this video, but I'm also going to put a link in there for those of you who might be interested in having a one-on-one conversation with me. I start with what I call a discovery call. I've pretty well said this in every video I've made. I'm just going to ask you some questions about where you're at in your business, why you started it, where you want it to be, what are the barriers, obstacles, or beliefs that you feel are getting in your way. We can talk a little bit about what needs to be done. It's a short call though, because I just want to know if there's some synergy. I want to know if what the challenge that you're facing I can help you with, and that you're the kind of person that will be open to that kind of help. I don't mean to disparage some people, but some people, and I've had clients like that in the past, I've made mistakes about bringing on clients who talked a big game, but then didn't follow through on the actions. And that's just a pain for them, a pain for me. So I just want to know, first off, can we work together? And do we have a solution that we would provide you some kind of return on investment? And if we have that meeting and we hit it off emotionally, from a logical intelligence standpoint, then we'll book a complimentary coaching session, which that lasts about an hour and a half, where I'm just going to ask you a whole bunch of questions so I can understand the cause of each of the challenges that you're facing. I'll suggest the solutions to those things. And then at that time, if you think there's some value in us working together, we can talk about a program that would work for you. So one more time, game on. Want to dominate this week? Start by shifting your momentum today. Let's go and let's win this week. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for Monday Momentum next time. By the way, you can also sign up for Monday Momentum. I'll put a link in there as well. It's a half hour of power, really. It's just like on Monday morning, let's start off on a positive note so that we can take that positivity and roll it into the rest of the week. All right. Thanks for listening. Take good care. Oh, by the way, subscribe, like the video, all that kind of stuff. It's good for me, and I appreciate it when you do that. And it helps me get my message out to more and more small business owners. So take care and have yourself an awesome day.